too far. Number 11, Jonah Longbottom.
Good morning and welcome to St Mary's Stadium. I am James Robertson. I will be your commentator for this morning and this afternoon. We have two great matches ahead. We've got the Penrith Panthers and the Illawarra South Coast Dragons, both doing battle in the Andrew Johns Cup for the under-16s and the Laurie Daley Cup for the under-18s.
Number 19, Bailey Hayman.
So the under-18s make a garb of honour here for the boys running out for the Andrew Johns Cup. Something they'll be very proud of, representing both these teams. We'll run through the Penrith Panthers side firstly. At fullback is Malachi Tereki. On the wings, Kanan Hardiman and Ezra Gosh. In the centres, Siotami Hansen and Latrell Leota. In the halves, Isaiah Katoa and Tyler Bunting. Lock forward is Samuel Squire. In the back row, Uwali Elisara and Jaden Stacker. And up front, Tavita Alatini, Billy Scott and Connor Puru. Off the bench, Bryson D. Manuel, Liam Aarons, Matthew Newland and Iafi Pomali. As for the Illawarra South Coast Dragons, their fullback is Sam Fitzpatrick. On the wings, Kyle Sackley and James McKelland. In the centres, Joseph Nelson and Jarvis Austin. In the halves, Caleb Stewart and Max Riolu. There's no lock forward name, but the rest of the back row, Jonah Longbottom and Reese Peno. Up front, Jack McKechnie, Billy Cook and Quinton Taufa. And an extended bench, Keith Gatt, Salvatore Gattuso, Kane Stage, Ryan Couchman, Nathan Mezinez, Bailey Hayman, and Richard Hall. Kyron Ebbs Windich left off. He was in jersey 13. And Harrison Hessel, the 18th man for the Penrith Panthers. So both teams not losing, but not winning in their first round clashes. The Panthers doing it tough. 14 points to 12, a loss against the Western Rams, the champions of last year. As Penrith make their way out onto the field, led by their captain, Isaiah Katoa. And as for the Illawarra South Coast Dragons, they had a 16-all draw up against the Monaro Colts as the Dragons make their way out onto the field. Met by the officials. Quite a cool day here in St Mary's. Was drizzling about 15 minutes before I arrived at the ground at 11 o'clock. Let's hope the rain stays away and we get a very entertaining game of rugby league here today. Good to see these players shake hands before doing battle in. Well, like I said, let's hope it's a very entertaining game. A lot of young talent on display. Potential future NRL players. You never know with these rep squads. Obviously selected for a reason. And out here to showcase their talent in front of these very lucky fans here in St Mary's. The Panthers will be kicking off. The Dragons in the red running left. From right to left. Towards the left. Great starters. Katoa gets us underway. Looking for a shortish restart. Perhaps a bounce into touch. And here comes the big prop forward. Number 10, Quinton Taufa. You can tell that both teams, they're going to need a big start here from their prop forwards. The battle of the forward packs will be a big one. Through the hands early. Trying to see who that is. It's the 11, Jonah Longbottom, wrapped up by 3. Again to the left-hand side. Some nice footwork there. Wrapped up by Ezra Gosh. There was Jarvis Austin. Here's the kick from Riolu. Caught well there by Tereke. Met there, the big fella, Taufa, getting some early work in. Let's see what the Dragons can do in defence. As Siatame Hansen takes the ball up over the 40. Some good field position early, and the outside backs doing much of the heavy lifting. Here's Hardiman. And Billy Scott asking for a quick play the ball. Dummy inside, out to the outside. Jaden Stacker, unfortunately, couldn't get through. Now here's the number 10, Connor Puru. Trying to bump off would-be tackler's last tackle. Out to the left, a nice little dab into the in-goal. And it looks like, although, no, it might be forced here. I believe it is a line dropout. Ball tapped back there by Sam Fitzpatrick into the in-goal. It was a good chase. But good early possession here for the Panthers. The Dragons having to do some defence. So drop out. Pretty shallow, only going to 30 metres. And here's Alatini. Nice sideward run. Trying to find some space. Dragging defenders to the line. Here's Sam Squire. Now out to the right. Needs a cutout ball. Finds it. Puts it down. Ezra Gosh. Great ball there from the captain himself, Isaiah Katoa, and we're on the board here early. 3 minutes gone in the Andrew Johns Cup. The Panthers lead 4 points to 0.
The Panthers scoring 4. There's a conversion attempt to count.
Great work from the captain, just lined up the numbers there on the short side, came right, and an unmarked Ezra Gosh goes over in the corner. Definitely want to be making amends after their tough loss to the champions, the Western Rams. It's so hard in competitions like this with players leaving in previous years. New crop of players, new crop of talent. Been training together, getting ready for this tournament. I'm going to see Tyler Bunting take this very difficult conversion, and just as he lines up, we get a bit of a breeze, so tough conversion nonetheless. Right-footed kicker. Let's see if he can drill this one through. Strikes the ball, looks decent off the boot, but just away to the left-hand side.
The conversion attempt was unsuccessful.
So unsuccessful there by Tyler Bunting. But the try from Ezra Gotch, an early try that the Panthers needed. They lead 4 points to 0. Up against the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. What a way to spend your Saturday morning watching Country Rugby League here streamed through Bar TV Sports as the Dragons get us back underway. Let's see what the Panthers forwards have. Good run, but an equally good hit there, the centre, Jarvis Austin. Well, I knew he could score tries, but didn't know he could pull off a hit like that on the bigger man. And now looking for a quick play the ball. Good run after the big hit. Latrell Leota looking for that quick play the ball and a penalty blown. And I'd be very careful on those kicks to touch. Might be able to hear the wind picked up through my mic. It is swirling out there. As Scott gets us back underway and gives it to Jaden Stacker. Early proceedings, it looks like this right-hand side might be the dangerous one, but we won't know until we see the left-hand side, I guess. There's a few Dragons defenders come to put down the lock forward. And now an incorrect play the ball I think we've seen. We saw it a lot last year, both in the NRL and through the country championships in all three age groups and the women. The referees aren't afraid to blow a penalty for a poor play the ball. And that really relieves the pressure. Although great work there by the far winger. It would have been the number 2 Hardiman out there on that touchline. I referenced the win just a few moments ago, and the Panthers now. And called offside, and luckily, because I'm pretty sure Alatini, although he was about 50 metres away, had his eyes on the try line. He still does. We're seeing some big hits out here early. There's a lot of passion being shown between these two teams. Out to the left-hand side. Catch and pass, and Hansen will be brought down 10 metres out. Hardiman from dummy half. Short of the line. Looking to go himself. And he might have got this down. Hansen, he backs up the dummy half run from Hardiman. One from the right-hand side. And one from the left-hand side, Caden Hardiman. Panthers lead 8-0. It was off the back of that penalty to the South Coast Dragons. Unfortunate to find touch. Seems something so simple, not taking into consideration that win that just picked up. And a brilliant effort there from Hardiman on the touchline. And then a penalty. Alatini with some solid running. And they managed to get over in that corner. So not making it easy at all for Tyler Bunting early on. Dragons only 8 minutes gone. Going to have to regroup quickly. Obviously game of 2 halves, but don't want to be on the back foot too early. Here's the kick from Bunting. This time away to the right, so
the conversion attempt was unsuccessful.
It's pretty hard kicking out on touch. But that wind will play havoc all day. I just have a feeling. But 8 points to nil. Early lead here for the Panthers. And they'll want to continue to march on. Pretty full crowd here in St. Mary's on the grandstand side. I'm sure a lot of friends and family coming to watch their sons, daughters, friends playing this game of Andrew Johns Cup. And here he goes. He's going to wind up again. Puru. Oh, and again a good hit. Loses the football. He's going to be having nightmares about Jarvis Austin. We will come in for a scrum feed, but boy, does Jarvis Austin have Connor Puru's number. Hard running, perhaps not wrapping up the football as tightly as he would have liked. And just a bit too quick there from Riolu. You see Austin's gone to the right-hand side, so let's see what the Dragons can come up with here. Their first real chance down this end. Good short ball there. And pumping the legs. The pass from Stewart. They continue to go out to the right-hand side. The Panthers showing their goal line defence. However, again, a good forward run. Good legs tackle. Offload. And no, it was touched there again by Puru. Trying to get in the thick of it after those couple of hits from Austin. But early signs, Alatini and Puru, they seem to be a bit of a handful. Big boys, it'll be interesting to see how long we get into this match before we see the players off the bench. 10.5 minutes gone. And the Dragons with another possession. Riolu. Interesting to see what the Dragons do here. Do they go straight for points? Or do they want to try and build pressure? That is the 13 out there. They come to the left-hand side. A dummy and then holds it up. Here for Jarvis. Oh, what a hit. There's Ragosh. Now the Dragons, back-to-back tackles there from the winger Gosh. Longbottom plays it. Back away to the short side. And Riolu just getting pushed back, and great tackle there. The captain coming up with a big one, Isaiah Katoa, as well as Jaden Stacker. And trading errors down this end of the field. The Dragons will just want to regroup and look to force another error. The jersey number 13 is out there. To be interesting to see if it is Kyron Ebbs Windich. Was ruled off the team sheet. I'll try and get some confirmation at half time, but the Panthers working away from their own end. Have been under a bit of pressure, not too much, but won't want to cough the football up here. As Billy Scott went himself, and now the outside back's coming here with Latrell Leota. Big, strong centre three-quarter. Up towards the 40-metre line. Down the short side they come. Good short ball. But again, the physicality here from both sides, really. Zella Sara being asked to play it. Here's the kick from Bunting. Down the throat there of Fitzpatrick. He's got some work to do here. And perhaps a high tackle in there on Fitzpatrick. And needs to keep those down. You're not really sure with any of these kicks, whether it's a high ball or a long ball or a chip over the top. Not too sure where the ball's going to bounce or swirl around to. It'd be interesting to see how the teams try and benefit from this wind. Doesn't really have any direction that I can feel anyway. A flat-footed start there for Taufa. Tries to make the best of it. And passing through the hands of the forwards. But again, good defence. Stacker. Puru. Also the lock forward, Squire. And now a nice little dummy half run. Gets the offload away. Out to the right-hand side. Good legs tackle, and then met also by Elisara. There was Joseph Nelson out there on that right-hand centre. Here's a little dab over the top. Taken nicely by Tereke. Beats the tackle of Billy Cook. And wrapped up by a few defenders. Now the Panthers look to use it through Gosh. Well, he's pushing one way and the Dragons are pushing the other way towards the touchline. Here's Leota. And he pushes the right way. Forward, up over the halfway line. Scott. Their halves combining. They're all offside, the Dragons. Now, do they want to play this quickly? Do they go just tap and run? I think Bunting is going to take the safe option. And he hands it off, and here is Iafi Pamali. So some interchanges coming on. I do see the other prop forward, Puru, coming off the field. Nice ball there for the halfback. Straight through a gaping hole is Uwali Elisara. Great pass by Tyler Bunting.
And the try to the Panthers.
And there was a yawning gap I could have driven through there.
Take the Panthers now on to 12.
But equally good pass. The pass still needed to be made by Tyler Bunting. He found the open gap, and Elisara, he picks up another try for the Panthers. It's 12 points to 0. We've seen it from both sides now. First early with Ezra Gotch. Now Elisara. The dummy half try from Hardiman. just a really good attacking team here, the Panthers. And, well, the few chances that the Dragons have had, it's just been really good goal line defence, keeping them out and forcing the errors. Over halfway through this first half. Want to try and regroup, defend well off this next set, and then try and get on the board before half-time. But what has been working in their favour is Tyler Bunting missing his opening 2 conversions. But this one, the flags are up, and he'll breathe a sigh of relief after that one. So 2 more points on the board. The Panthers extend their lead to 14 over the Illawarra South Coast Dragons here in the Andrew Johns Cup. So 1 from 3. Tyler Bunting here today. It's 2 from 2 last week against the Western Rams. Elisar and Gosh try scorers there also up in Lithgow. When this game concludes, don't go anywhere. Stick around. We have the under-18s Laurie Daley Cup between these two sides once more, the Penrith Panthers and the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. And that's the 16, Matthew Newland, coming off the bench. And here comes Leota. 4 to bring him down. Nice little inside ball there to Squire. And pretty quick service out of dummy half from Billy Scott. Now they find Pamali. Shrugs 1 off, shrugs 2 off. Keeps going. Up over the halfway. And again, 3 defenders needed to bring him down. Count it 4. I didn't see the number 3, Joseph Nelson, in there. Here's the kick. A very good one of that. They've got players chasing. And it's not picked up. It's going to be interesting what the call is here. I think they're going to rule a double knock on. It's going to be a 10-metre scrum. It should be a Penrith feed. And it is indeed. A great kick there by Tyler Bunting down into the corner. Put the pressure on Fitzpatrick. It was just all too much. But fortunately for them, an error on the other side as well. But how long till the Panthers go over again? They've stacked the left-hand side. Here's Leota. Looking for the line, right on that left upright. Couldn't get the ball down. They bring him back under. This looks to be Siatami Hansen. Good defence there from the Dragons. And they've lost the football. So good defence, forcing the error. For the Dragons, they just need to find a bit of positivity. They'll get a scrum feed 10 metres out, work it away from their own end. With 10 minutes to go, it'd be interesting to see if it's just one out stuff here, or are they going to play a bit expansive? Perhaps they do that from the scrum. Nice little inside ball. A shot attempted to be put on there by on Max Riolu. It looked like Stacker. And a penalty, a well-needed penalty for the Dragons. Now, you're seeing the fullback might not be in the shot. No, they go the tap restart. A smart decision. You saw the fullback Tereke making his way to the sideline, trying to tap it back infield the same way Hardiman did. A good run there from the back row of the Illawarra South Coast Dragons as more forwards trying to get into the action. He's lost his left shoe. Well, I think that's a bit unfair. He lost his left shoe, tried to play the football. He's been penalised for it. I'm assuming for the incorrect play of the ball, not the loss of the left shoe from Kyron Ebbs Windich. But they didn't need to turn the ball over there. The Panthers will get the ball back. Let's see what they can do with it on this occasion. Midfield. Here's Stacker. Good one-on-one tackle. That's Kane Stage has made his way onto the field. In fact, no, it's Taufa still out there. Dummies inside, outside. He's brought down. Tyler Bunting was looking for his fullback Tereke. They come out to the left-hand side. Trying to beat tackle, maybe look for an offload. But Elisara brought down about 18 metres out. Standing flat-footed, still beating defenders though. Pamali. The 14 is on. Bryson DeManuel. He comes to the left-hand side. Bunting again. That double dummy. We saw it work just there. Didn't work on the first occasion, but he went back to the bag of tricks. And a nice try there from Tyler Bunting. Good service. Had a dummy half from Bryson DeManuel. And the dummy inside and outside. Tyler Bunting squeezes through the Dragons' defence and extends the lead to 18. And Panthers look very focused. At their fourth try. The interchanges coming on and bringing impact immediately. I wonder what the Dragons are thinking right about now. Tough draw against the Monaro Colts. But they had to come into this game with a winning mindset. It's only a short length competition, so every point does count heading into the finals. Of course, 6 teams, both the northern and southern pools, the top 2 teams play off, and finals after that as Bunting splits the sticks in 2. 2-0, the Panthers, 20 points on the board, and the Dragons yet to score. We know what this Dragon side can do. They do have try scorers on the park. It's just a matter of getting down that end of the field, and they want to do that in this last 6 minutes before halftime. You can use the old nil-all score mentality, but any points they can get before halftime will definitely benefit them and give them momentum. Almost dropped that, did Katoa. And here's Newland. I tell you what, the physicality hasn't lacked through these opening 25 minutes. He's been asked to play the football again. We've seen this bloke Leota be used as a forward of sorts, such a big, stocky lad. Now the outside backs get into it as Tereke up to the 40, the fullback. A few touches here and there. He's been pretty sound. Now Katoa, right foot kick. I don't believe he was inside the 40, but is looking for a 40-20. Gosh was chasing. Fitzpatrick runs him off the ball, and he was outside the 40. Unluckily for the Panthers, but a bit of respite here for the Dragons. But just a really good kicking game. Kicking early in the count, looking for that 40-20. Just unable to find it. Well, the Dragons, they won't want to make an error here at all. And fed the scrum, Riolu. Again, good defence. There's a bit of space out here on the right-hand side if you could get the arm free. But a well-earned penalty, and a well-needed penalty at that. Offside. And turn to the back row, Reese Pano with the big boot. As they'll go out to about the 35. Well, this is a very big 10 metres. This is about 15 metres. And the referee has asked them to walk up to the mark. The Dragons with the ball. Need some guidance here from their young halfback. And there he was, passing it off. And here's a good run from Kane Stage. Headgear, quick play the ball. Here's Ebbs Windich on the middle of the field. You feel like they need something, an offload or a beaten tackle. Here's the kick from Peno. Caught well by Tereke. And now a bit of pressure, some line speed needed here from the Dragons. Is Gotch. The Panthers will just continue to do what they have been, completing their sets and chewing up the metres as Hardeman will play it. Left-hand side, Bunting. Perhaps he looked for that dummy. I don't think there was a knock on, it was a kick of sorts, but the Dragons do have the ball on halfway. Or perhaps they play the error before. I thought he dropped it onto the boot, but an error called by the referee. With 2.5 minutes to go until halftime, we still got a little bit of time for the Dragons to try and conjure something up here before the break. Now Riolu, let's see how quick the outside backs are. Tereke is chasing. We've got some other chasers here for the Dragons, one being Mr. Jarvis Austin. And he's given away a penalty. But he had to get on his boots there, Tereke. Jarvis Austin looks quite quick. And although it didn't come off, perhaps that's the sort of play that the Dragons needed. Smart thinking there from Max Riolu. In 90 seconds, you'd think that the Panthers would finish up with the football, depending on how they use the clock here. Oh, good tackle. I'll tell you what, it might be 20 points the difference, but the physicality has remained the same from the opening siren. And the Dragons will want to finish off strongly here. Here's Pamale. Siatami Hansen out in back play. He's trying to catch his breath. Let's hope he's all right. What do they look to do here? D'Manuel. Katoa. Oh, looking for the cutout pass. Unfortunately, didn't come off. He had about 3 different options there. And perhaps the Dragons get one more opportunity. Does Max Riolu go to the long kick downfield again? We've got Jarvis Austin on the left-hand side. Perhaps he goes the short side to him. Let's see what happens. They don't, but it's a nice cutout pass and some footwork there from Nelson. Clock ticking down and one final play. And the referee helps them with that, as Siatami Hansen is still being tended to by the trainer. Trying to see what it is. A facial injury or a shoulder? Yeah, it might be the nose. Saw the trainer holding the arm, thought the shoulder, but yeah, it might be a busted nose. Let's hope he's all right and he comes back into the action for the second half, because him and Latrell Leota have been very dangerous for the Panthers. Here we go, last play of the first half. And there's that big gust to win. Perhaps it'll help the Dragons. Let's see what they can do. It ricochets off the fullback. And no, a penalty for inside the 10. Boy, that could have got in. That could have got inciting. A bit of pinball, but a tap restart, a kick out into touch on the full by Tyler Bunting, and that is the opening half of round 2 from the Southern Pool in the Andrew Johns Cup. The Panthers leading 20 points to nil over the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. Your try scorers, we have Ezra Gotch, Kanan Hardiman, Uwali Elisara, and Tyler Bunting, who is 2 from 4 with the boot. Don't go anywhere. We will be back with the second half very shortly. Go grab a cold beverage, come back, and look forward to the second half. Welcome back to the second half. The Andrew Johns Cup, round 2 of the Southern Pool. The Panthers, the Penrith Panthers up against the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. A 20-point lead they carried into the break. And let's hope for the Dragons' sake they can come back. It did show some glimpses just before halftime. Kick from a scrum from Max Riolu, looking for the number 4 Jarvis Austin. But the Panthers just defensively have been very good, as well as the attacking nature of which they play. Go through the try scorers again. Ezra Gotch, Uwali Elisara, Caden Hartman, and Tyler Bunting. 2 from 4 with the boot. Although it doesn't look like it from where I stand, it looks to be sort of clearing up behind us, but the second half is underway and Newland takes it forward. Can the Dragons pull off a 20-point comeback? Oh, there's Jarvis Austin. Well, he likes to tackle the big fellas. That was a nice run. And by guess who? The number 4, Latrell Leota. Really good. Perhaps one of the best in the first half there for the Panthers. But Katoa early in the tackle count again. Nice kick. Austin seems to be going to fullback. Some nice footwork. Only a couple of metres gained, but try and see where the fullback Sam Fitzpatrick is. Seems that Jarvis Austin has gone to fullback. And lost football. Kyle Sackley, unfortunately, just couldn't hold on to the football. We do have Ryan Couchman out there, so Fitzpatrick might be off the park. You can see this left-hand side for the Panthers. Elisara lined up in the centres. I'm not too sure if Siatami Hansen has resumed on the field, but here is Gosh, one of the first half try scorers. Looking, hopefully in his sake, he wasn't looking for a lost football, but that's exactly what the Illawarra South Coast Dragons needed. Once again, work the ball from their own line. So it does look like that Elisara has gone to left centre. Although he's lined up defensively there at halfback, but looks like he's gone to left centre. So let's see what whereabouts Siatami Hansen is, perhaps on the bench. That'd be a real shame. They try and work it away. Joseph Nelson, we saw bits and pieces of him in the first half. I hope to see more. Here's Reece Penno. Another lost football. Just trying to get up and play it too quickly, perhaps looking for a penalty. But if there's anything the Dragons don't want, it's lost possession, especially down this end of the field. Gifting the Panthers another opportunity. The scrum fed, and here comes Hardeman to the 20. Only one marker there, so a quick play the ball out to the right-hand side. Here's Leota. Really good tackle there. I believe that's James McKellen there on the left-hand edge. Here's Gosh. Came from the other side, did Hardeman. He's right back out here to the left. Here's Katoa. Oh, beautiful footwork. Beats 1, 2, 3. There's probably about 5 at the end. I was just sitting in awe. Great footwork there. Isaiah Katoa, the captain for the Penrith Panthers, underneath the sticks.
Take the Panthers now on to 24. And there's a conversion attempt to come.
What a great try. He's shown his passing ability. Excuse me. His passing ability has been fantastic. But there we saw some light stepping, some great footwork. And the Panthers, they just jog back to halfway, jog back into position as Tyler Bunting gets ready to convert what should be a simple attempt. And the Dragons again behind the goal line, asking themselves, how on earth did Isaiah Katoa get through there? Changes made here by the Dragons. See the number 6 coming off in Caleb Stewart. Be interesting to see who comes on there for him as Tyler Bunting missed his first two. He's kicked 3 successfully in a row.
Panthers now on to 26.
The score now 26-0. Starting to get a bit ugly here for the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. They will have another opportunity, however, next week, and as well as in the under-18s Laurie Daley Cup. It will be kicking off at 1:30 between these two clubs again, the Penrith Panthers and the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. Back underway by Reece Peno. And here's Newland again. Been pretty sound off the bench. I actually wonder how scary it's going to be when Alateni and Puru come back on. The Dragons are going to have to muscle up in defence big time here. Here's the 17, Pamali. He's been a bit of a handful, also coming off the bench. And the referee's called play on, not held at all. And the 4 defenders that originally attempted to bring him down come back, and he's gained about 20 extra metres. Another dummy, Bunting. Oh, what a joy to watch. Him and Katoa. Now the 15, Liam Aarons. Last tackle, where do they go? He looks right and left. Comes the short side. Bunting, out. Nice pass. Oh. Sit back and watch this clinic from Tyler Bunting. Great catch and pass, Ella Sara. And Kanan Hardiman goes in for a double. Put it down to the magic of Tyler Bunting. We saw a couple of plays before that. Lethal, dummy in, dummy out. We've seen it from both him and Isaiah Katoa, the captain. On this occasion, it was Bunting. And then on the last, a nice run from Liam Aarons put them in a good position. They came to the short side and just summed up the numbers there. Some nice catch and pass. Now Bunting lines it up. About 5 metres from this grandstand side touchline. And his streak of 3 will continue. 3 from 5, 60%. But you love to get the ones out from here, especially close to the fans in the grandstands. And just away to the left-hand side on that occasion. But the Panthers, they extend their lead to 30 points. And coming off their loss against the champions, the Western Rams, would have had a look at themselves and say, you know what? We did lose, but it was a 2-point deficit against a very good team in the Western Rams. Very well coached. They picked themselves back up, and a very tough game that the Dragons had against the Colts, a 16-all draw. Just don't seem to have recovered. And now, again, the forwards just doing their job as they have done all day. That might be Connor Puru who's made his way back onto the field. No, Pamali still out there. And it's these speedy guys as well. You've got the big front rowers the rangy back rowers, and then these speedy guys, D. Manuel out of dummy half, they eat the meters for breakfast. And then they kick early again. Bunting right into the corner, and he's got a lot of work to do here, Jarvis Austin. And he's just going to take the tackle. If you're ever to see a better set in under 16s rep football, give me a call. That was picture perfect. 3 forward runs, a little bit from the dummy half D. Manuel, and then just a kick down into the in goal. And they go about 100 metres and force a line dropout. I don't want to label anyone with superstardom at such a young age, but we saw a kid in the competition last year playing for the Western Rams by the name of Noah Griffiths. I've heard rumblings. We see a good tackle there. I've heard rumblings that perhaps he might be south of the border in Melbourne, looking to play for the Melbourne Storm one day. Perhaps we're looking at someone like Bunting as he gives it to Elisara. Perhaps we're looking at someone like Bunting, very much the same calibre. Here he is again, inside ball. Trying to use his strength to get to the line there was Tereke. Couldn't do so. Now the last. Bunting hands it off to Katoa. Through the hands, and well, that one went forward. It was backwards off Stacker and forwards off Leota. And well, I've come down this left-hand side now a few times in the second half, and Leota, who had a really good first half, seems to be a bit quiet in this second half with the lack of possession down that right-hand side. And the Dragons will be breathing a sigh of relief. They finally get the football back. Their forwards have to do something. Here's Riolo. What can we see here from the forwards of the Dragons? Gattuso up to the 40. Try to go through the hands. He's probably been one of their better players, Kyron Ebbs-Windich. Here's the last. Here's Billy Cook. Kicks it down, taken well there by Tereke. We did see Caleb Stewart leave the field earlier, so seems like Billy Cook has gone into the 5'8" position here for the Dragons. Again, the outside backs just coming to take off a bit of the pressure for the forwards. Not that they've had much pressure to deal with here today. Now a nice run, Pamali trying to get the arm free, but a good tackle up top there by Longbottom and a few others. Bunting now out to Aarons. Now the short side, Bunting again. See what they can do. Lift it up, but he's called held. And Hardeman asked to play it. Last tackle. Bunting. Katoa. Grab a kick looking for the in goal. Ugly sort of bounce. Originally wanted to leave it. Had to take it, Kyle Sackley. And nice defence there from Penrith. And once again, another line dropout force. I believe it's the third in this game. And the Dragons have just had a lack of possession. They can't really do anything with the football. They're trying their hardest. Their forwards are running hard. But the Panthers are just, like I said before, putting on a clinic. Here's Tereke. Beats one defender. Brings it to within 20 metres of the Dragons line. Looking to go on the attack again. Here's Pamali. He's been out there for about 30 minutes and he's just dragging players before he's brought down. Really good effort there from the young man. D. Manuel, Bunting, dummies. And wrapped up by a few defenders. Longbottom, being good defensively. D. Manuel, short ball. Can he get over? And really good goal line defence there Newell, and he was sniffing the try line. He could taste another try here for the Panthers. Katoa, grubbers, pressure on. He's trying to get back Jarvis Austin. Oh, but the defense. The defense is just way too strong for the left-hand side of the Panthers. A really good effort there from Jarvis Austin. Try to get back into the field of play. But Katoa, just a great grubber kick. Great force of pressure there for the defense of the Panthers. And we see Sam Squire come back on, and a really good spell there from Iafi Pamali. And Bunting goes to the man that's just come straight back on. Squire driving the legs. Brought down by 3. And stacked here to the short side again. What's Bunting got in mind? Through the hands, and oh, great footwork. But it's been called a forward pass. Oh, real shame. Again, this left-hand side, Elisala. And Tyler Bunting. The ball's on strings for him. Just like to thank Bar TV Sports for allowing us to have the opportunity to stream these games through Facebook. Watch on Facebook. And also follow Country Rugby League at Country RL on Instagram. We'll show you try highlights. As we see a penalty there for the Dragons with 14 to go. And full game replays will be also there on Facebook. After the games are over, you can go back and watch this game and the game after from the under-18s. As we see Kyron Ebbs Winditch again. He's trying to do something here to spark his side, and oh, unfortunately Keith Gatt just makes a meal of it. That just seems to be the story of the day. They've shown a bit of promise. Their forwards just trying to work hard. Just little errors here and there. The Panthers once again enter the half of the Dragons. There's Bunting again. Now Elisara. Wrapped up by 1. I thought he was looking for the offload there to Hardiman. Here is Hardiman. Towards the middle. Plenty of numbers out here on the right-hand side. Bunting, Katoa. Another nice pass. Leota. Well, it was about time. Thought he was going to score in the first half, but a nice pass there. Jaden Stucker. We had the halves combined. Latrell Leota goes over. Another try for the Penrith Panthers. They lead 34 points to 0 over the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. You see that a lot amongst really good halves. Just a good interchanging of passing. Sometimes you don't see a lot. You don't see it enough. But this combination between Tyler Bunting and Isaiah Katoa, and just the combination between all these players in general. They're like a well-oiled machine. They work together. They work for each other. And I know we're only in round 2, but boy, a close loss against the Western Rams, who won it all last year. And now an impressive performance here against the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. Again, I know it's early, but at the moment the Panthers, they look like my pick to win the Andrew Johns Cup at the moment. Tyler Bunting, the win is picked up. Will it pick the ball right through the post? No. unfortunately,
The conversion attempt was unsuccessful. So the score
for
remains.
Tyler Bunting, that win just came at the wrong time for him. I thought it was going to go through the uprights. With 34 points to nil, just a little over 10 minutes remaining in our opening game here at St Mary's Stadium. 1:30, we got the under-18s Laurie Daley Cup between these two clubs. You see in the background the Panthers warming up. South Coast Dragons getting to warm up as well. But the focus is on the under-16s at the moment. And Newland's still out there, still working hard. Don't all these forwards. And it's almost like he starts their sets for them. Latrell Leota off the second tackle. If that ball goes down the left-hand side, here goes Squire up towards the halfway. And an incorrect play the ball. That's probably been one of the few things that they've gotten wrong in this game. And the tap restart, not looking for the sideline. Solid contact, and Gattuso, big fella. Now it comes out to an edge is Kyron Ebbs-Windich. Can they score some points through Gattuso? Gat. Out left-hand side, Riolo. And looked for the intercept. Did Gosh through the pass of Jarvis Austin. But couldn't get it, couldn't even get a touch on it. Now for Longbottom. One tackler. I'll tell you what, they've got to come to the right-hand side. It's the only way they can go. Trying to find an offload, but Taufa's brought to ground. Out left-hand side, nice cut-out ball. Some nice footwork, can he get it down? Referee in a good position. And no, he's short of the line, Joseph Nelson. They're looking to barge over here. But again, good goal line defence by the Penrith Panthers. And that was indeed the last tackle. It'll be a 20 tap for the Panthers. Actually, no, there would have had to be a knock-on for there to be a 20 tap, so an error there from the Dragons right on the goal line. Panthers will start this set again from their 20 with Newland. The sun's starting to poke its head through to the left-hand side behind the broadcast. And that'll help the two teams playing afterwards. But that wind hasn't died down at all. Here goes D. Manuel trying to use a bit of footwork, and now it looks to be touched by the Dragons. Play on. Bunting will play it as the Panthers resume their onslaught. Tavita Alatini back onto the field for the final 7.5 minutes, and he's heard something that he doesn't like. Needs to keep a cool head. And between him and Gattuso, yeah, something has definitely been said here. The referee is going to pull Alatini aside and have a word with him. As we see a swap of the fullback positions. James McKellen will go to fullback, and Jarvis Austin, who is nursing his ribs, it looks like. Hopefully he's all right. He's just come to the right-hand side for the Dragons. Only a short 15 metres or so, but that's all you need. The Panthers look to finish this game off in style. And D. Manuel, the tap and go. Here's Liam Aarons. Been really good off the bench in this second half. And number 15, Katoa. Now Squire. beats one. Try to beat another. Met by his opposite number in Kyron Ebbs-Windich. D. Manuel. Bunting holds it up. Looked to go himself, but the defence has tightened up on that left-hand side. And now looking to just budge over Tavita Alatini. Well, he didn't like what he heard from Gattuso, but he's gotten over the line. The Panthers extend their very, very big lead. Played before, Bunting looking to go himself, and then just a short ball to Alatini, barges his way over. Some tired defence. They've had a lot of possession. And, well, something's been said after the try has been scored. And I don't know how many times I've seen this in my 15 years of watching rugby league. Someone has scored a try and then immediately been sent to the sin bin. I can't say that I've ever seen this before. So Tavita Alatini has gone over for a 4-pointer, and then he's been sent to the bin. And I might be right in saying that the number 4 has gone and followed him. Both have been sent to the bin. I just saw Latrell Leota run up the tunnel with no interchange. And there's 10 there in the huddle, so it looks like a double sin bin. There's something verbal, perhaps towards the referee. Well, unfortunate for both of them. The time is back on, and 5 minutes to go. Tyler Bunting converts the try, scored by Alatini. Very strange indeed. I can't say I've ever seen someone score a try and then being sent to the bin, and followed by Latrell Leota also being sent to the bin. So, if I can count, there's definitely 11 players on the field here for the Penrith Panthers. So a double sin bin after a try has been scored. Very, very bizarre. Maybe the Dragons can score once. 13 up against 11. Here comes the bench forward, Pamali, who is back onto the field. Perhaps rearranging the back line in some way. They already lost Siatami Hansen, and well, I'm sure they'll miss him somewhat, but his replacement, Uwali Elisara, has been very good, scoring a try. And Bunting inside the 40, charged down there by the Dragons. And it has been played out, so a fresh set of 6 here for the men in black as they go up over the halfway. Katoa inside. Elisara beats 1 and 2, but stumbles towards Keith Gatt, and he gets an easy tackle there. D. Manuel out of dummy half. Just eating up the meters, Katoa. Now again, Bunting. Shows it once. Can't get that ball away. He was looking for Jaden Stacker. Katoa dribbles it again into the in goal, but this time too big, and one of the few errors there from Isaiah Katoa. Good to see there from the Dragons. They're down by 40, but still willing to play through to the final minute, the end of the 60. And some nice catch pass there. It's gone to ground, but it's picked up there by Ryan Couchman on the left-hand side. Sam Fitzpatrick, I still can't say why he left the field, but here's Quinton Taufa. We've seen it all in this game, players leaving the field for all sorts of occasions, whether it be a facial injury or just disappearing or being sent to the sin bin after scoring a 4-pointer. Now here's some nice passing and running from the South Coast Dragons. It's going to be a penalty. It's a good run there by Kane Stage. Let's hope he's all right. Copped the brunt of that lower leg tackle. Well, it's been called for a higher tackle. There was some sort of pressure on the legs. And time has been called off with a minute 36 to go. Always first and foremost, important is the safety of the players and hoping they get through and play to the best of their ability throughout the 60 minutes in the Andrew Johns Cup and the 70 minutes in the Laurie Daley Cup. I'm sure the trainers work overtime to make sure that their players are fighting fit, but that doesn't look good. Being carried off the field. But an ovation here from the crowd. Very good to see. And Kane Stage, he was almost into the backfield. Well, let's hope it's nothing too serious and he can play for the remainder of the games in this competition. But the fact that they haven't put him down and they're carrying him straight up the tunnel, that's not a good sign at all. But we resume with 90 seconds left, and there is an overlap here on the short side, and it should be points for the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. Ryan Couchman in the number 17. Well, that's what happens when you got two players off the field in the sin bin. But nonetheless, great catch pass there for the Dragons, and Ryan Couchman come on the field for the second half. Out there in the left centre position, and he bags a 4-pointer for the Dragons. Interesting to see who we see kick. That's the number 14 out there, Keith Gatt. Gatt and Penno both kicking goals last week. Gatt getting the nod as the clock winds down, and this will probably be the last play of the game. Comprehensive win by the Penrith Panthers. Some positive signs though from the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. A draw last week. They're going to have to regroup and hope to get on some sort of winning streak if they're to make it in the Southern Pool Finals of the Andrew Johns Cup. Away to the right-hand side. The siren has sounded, and that is full time here. The Andrew Johns Cup Southern Pool Under-16s. It is the Penrith Panthers 40 defeating the Illawarra South Coast Dragons 4. Let's go through the try scorers. We have 2 to Kane Hardeman, a really good game from him. Latrell Leota, Ezra Gotch, Isaiah Katoa, the captain, Tyler Bunting, Tavita Alatini, and Uwali Elasara. It was 4 from 8 at the boot for Tyler Bunting. And for the Illawarra South Coast Dragons, a try you just saw there out on the left-hand side there from Ryan Couchman. And unfortunately, an unsuccessful conversion from Keith Gatt. That's all we have for the Andrew Johns Cup. But do stick around. Our game after this, the Under-18s Laurie Daley Cup between the Penrith Panthers and the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. The Penrith Panthers losers in their last start. The Illawarra South Coast Dragons piling on the points against Monaro. Are we going to see a points fest? Stick around and find out. Welcome back to St Mary's Stadium. About to see live coverage of the Under-18s Laurie Daley Cup between the Penrith Panthers and the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. Going through the Penrith lineup for the Under-18s, Sunuia Taruva is at the back. On the wings, Christian Lee Mai and Matthew Lewin. In the centres, unfortunately, we don't have a number 3, so we'll see who lines up in the centres, but whoever it is, the partner will be Maxwell Pritchard. In halves, Braith Alexander and Connor Mason. The lock forward is Jared Hackney. The second row is Zach Lipowicz and Isaac Tungor. And up front, Campbell Fisher, Trent Borthwick and Osman Momo. On the bench, Hamid El Baye, Hoyepa Peru, Jai Winberg and Peter Hansen. And extended is Mitchell Owen and Cruz Tweedy. So perhaps one of those two young gentlemen getting some action in the centres here today. A few changes for the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. At fullback, Jai Patterson returning from last year's tournament. On the wings, Alexander Lobb. And in jersey 22, Cooper Tunbridge. In the centres, Kane Ball and Nelson Sharp. In the halves, I've heard a lot about him, Tyrone Roberts and the halfback Billy Haben, both of those combining for 5 tries last week. The lock forward is Kai Sims. The second row is Phoenix, Venabua Finerti and Charlie Parrish. And up front, Clive Brett, Trent Griffiths and the hooker Tuakana Kangiata. Off the bench, Giovanni Nassau, Braden Grob, Trevor Burdis, Fletcher Blackett and Braith Lawrence Foy. See the Panthers come out onto the field. And if you have been watching, welcome back. If you haven't, you missed the Panthers getting 40 points to 4 over the Illawarra South Coast Dragons in the Andrew Johns Cup. Just revising some scores from last week in this competition. The South Coast Dragons, as I mentioned, Tyrone Robertson, Haben combining for 5 tries. Ball, Tunbridge and Sharp also crossing in a 52 points to 16 win over the Monaro Colts. As for the Panthers, likewise in the under-16s, they went down to the Western Rams 34 points to 18 with Taruva and Owen, the try scorers. But the Panthers, they will kick off in this one. The Dragons running from left to right. Let's see the 21 there, Kane Ball. This win hasn't let down from the 16s, so let's see how the 18s deal with it. And well, before we kick off, we need a tee out there to kick off. Always helpful to have a tee. Perhaps we'll place kick. We'll learn a thing or two from the NFL. Oh, here we go. Here comes the tee. Isn't all that cold here in St Mary's? Just a cool breeze. Gusting wind, however you want to call it, changes from time to time. But however, we do get underway through the boot of Isaac Tungor. And I thought that might have been a goal line dropout. The referees ruled it dead on the full. Interesting, from my standpoint, it looked like the player caught the ball and jumped behind the dead ball line, but the Dragons will start with possession on halfway. And they come left early. Looks like a few changes to the starting lineup with, well, obviously with Jack Owens not there. The Dragons try and work it down the right-hand side. And a good start with the penalty and looking for points early. Grubber looking for the in goal and taken well by the fullback in Suna Taruva. And pressure here on the Panthers. Looked like he was trying to get the ball free. And, well, no, he's been forced dead in goal. I thought he lost the football over the line, but great defence there by the Dragons, and they've forced a line dropout, so early possession coming their way. And drop out through the boot of Isaac Tungor. Let's see, here is Clive Brett. Now they work it away through Phoenix Venetabua Finerti. I'm going to have to get used to saying that. And a few names we'll share later in the coverage from last year's game. But they look to go left, try to get the offload away, the halfback, Billy Hayburn. Directing traffic is Roberts. Falling over the line. He's been called held up. Like I said, 5 tries scored between the halfback and the 5'8". Hayburn and Tyrone Roberts. So a lot in coverages last week. Here is Roberts, in fact, with a crossfield kick. And I thought it was taken there. It was taken in the end by the Panthers player in Matthew Lewin. But a good contest in the air to begin proceedings is Connor Mason. Doing really what the front rowers should be doing and getting away from the danger area. And that's a better run. Getting into the grit of it early, Connor Mason, and there's a penalty. Holding down too long in the tackle. Now, let's see what the Panthers opt to do. I think they're just going to try and gain any advantage they can, whether it's 5 metres or 10 metres. Now, here's Isaac Tungor. You won't miss him in those blue and pink boots. He's Hoepa Puru. And, well, you can see that penalty go either way. On this occasion, he's ruled it to the Panthers. Infringement there in the play the ball. And now, a kick crossfield. So they will gain somewhat of an advantage. But that kick pretty much went backwards from Connor Mason. The Panthers work it up over the 30, a wayward offload. They keep it going. Mason, another offload. And now beating tackles left, right and centre is Osman Momo. And they'll come back for the penalty back on the 25. So expensive football early from Penrith, which is to be expected if what happened in the last game. Very similar coaching and attacking styles, and on report there for Tyrone Roberts. So perhaps the match review committee looking at that, or Junior Rugby League or Country Rugby League looking at that, and well, for the Dragons' sake, let's hope he doesn't miss any game time. He's still on the field at the moment. So the Panthers with their first real opportunity. Here's Mason through the hands. A good hard run there from Lipowicz. Caught the ball from Braith Alexander. Borthwick. Now Alexander with a dummy on the inside. Tried to go himself. A good goal line defence from the Dragons. Wide ball out to the right. Dummy, and I thought through a yawny gap, Campbell Fisher would have gone. And an incorrect play of the ball. Saw it a few times in the 16s. Need to learn to place the ball, place your foot on the ball. Let's see where this ball ends up. Well, about 5 metres in front of where they were, but barely got to the touchline. And I tell you, this wind is wreaking havoc. But the Dragons will work it away from their own half. Through Trent Griffiths. A good ball there and a good run. A pass over the top, early kick from Roberts. Grubbers through, perhaps we'll see some magic. Tyrone Roberts, pass, couldn't collect it. Oh, forward pass, unfortunately. Cooper Tunbridge licking his lips. But if that's what we're in store for today, strap yourselves in. Tyrone Roberts, cheeky little kick. But the Panthers gifted possession. But we'll have to work hard to get it out from their own end. I was talking about the names of four, especially on this Illawarra South Coast Dragons sheet as Alexander spreads the ball. But we've got Phoenix, Vena, Tabua, Finerti and Tuikana Kangiita. Last year we had Jeffrey Sia, Afoa, Afoya. So perhaps we'll need to come up with some nicknames for those two as the Panthers look to spread it. And run do they do. A nice little kick there from the fullback. Chasing is Cooper Mason, but taken into touch. Kane Ball, great tackle there on Sanua Tavua. Sorry, Connor Mason. But he was chasing. There was pressure there. Perhaps he had to let it go, but the points on offer were too much. He took possession of the ball and got taken into touch by a good tackle there from Kane Ball. So Roberts to feed the scrum. They come towards the short side. And that's the 14, Nassau Giovanni. Now with Veta Nabua Finerti. We could just call him PVF for short. Here comes Griffiths and solid contact there. Right adjacent to the St. Mary's logo here at St. Mary's Leagues. And again, solid contact pushed back. It was Charlie Parrish we saw in last year's competition. Now the kick from Roberts. Swirling about, off the shoulders. Picked up and well called there by the referee. Had the whistle in the mouth, but chose to allow the fullback from Penrith to play on. Now here's Maxwell Pritchard. Pushed back. Haven't yet seen who's going into the centre position, but here's a penalty, well needed for Penrith. Looks to be the 18, Mitchell Owen, out there on the right-hand side. The wind dies down, and you can tell by that booming kick. So 30 metres away from the Dragons' try line. As Borthwick will tap and pass off to Alexander, and now for Lipowicz. So he gets towards the 20. And Borthwick to Alexander again. Some nice passing. That pass going to ground. Pressure coming on Mason. But all importantly, he falls on the ball and Tyrone Roberts falls on top of him. Here's Taruva. Nice quick play the ball, Borthwick. Mason. Alexander. Short ball. Try to get through the tackle, but good defence there. The little halfback, Billy Hayburn. Now back to the left. Try to go underneath the sticks. And Puru will be brought down. Last tackle. Has options either side. Mason holds on to it. Uses some footwork. Tries to kick it. Pinballs. And it's a penalty all the same. Offside here, the Dragons allowing play to continue seeing if there was a try, but back to the penalty for being inside the 10. You'd think they just go with a tap restart, and that they will with Borthwick. Now here's the number 10, Momo. Still pushing. There's an upright in his way. He won't get past that, surely. Although the upright is shaking. Mason. Dummies once, goes short, and unfortunately loses it pretty much over the line there. Puru, he had an opportunity. And much like the last game, we're seeing the Panthers with a lot of opportunities. This time, not converting, but it's down this end. Down near the South Coast goal line. And I think if we're going to see the best of the Illawarra South Coast Dragons here today, we're going to have to see a lot from Jai Patterson. In this corresponding game last year, he was my player of the match. Some nice running here from the 21 in Kane Ball. Made an important tackle earlier on the fullback from Penrith. And ball and all tackle there from the 15, Puru. Up to the 40 there through Kai Sims. Roberts. Oh, and well, he had thoughts about what he wanted to do with the football before he did anything, and by the time the ball came to him, it was already on the deck. So trading errors at the moment, but only 13 minutes gone, so it's still early days. As Mason feeds the scrum, and we see the number 5, Matthew Lewin. Now Alexander, nice cut-out ball. Here we go, some room to move there for Pritchard. He's brought down on the 30. Alexander again. Some nice passing we're seeing here, Puru. Brought down. Nice quick play the ball. Borthwick short side. Can't beat the tackle of Billy Hayburn. The forwards have some nice hands too. Campbell Fisher opts to just hold the ball on that occasion. Alexander. Mason. Look to pass. Holds it. And some great pressure there from Tyrone Roberts. Also in there was Brett Clive, but Roberts racing up on the halfback, not allowing him to get a kick away. No error, but again, possession given to the Dragons. There's the fullback. I remember last season he had the long locks and the strapping around the head. He gives away a penalty, Jai Patterson. Oh, sorry, gets one for his team. Given away by one of the Penrith players as they look to find touch through Tyrone Roberts. Heavily involved, as you would expect. And here's Clyde Brett. Now for the other front rower in Griffiths. Thought they were looking for an inside ball there, but Hayburn went straight to Brett again. Now for Roberts. Little chip over the top. Nicely gathered there by Christian Lee. Or Christian Lee Mai. A very back and forth contest. 15 minutes into this one. Still no score. Good line set from the Dragons. As Fisher attempts to punch through a hole. Alexander turns his back row on the inside. That'll be Lipowicz. Perhaps an early kick. Here's Mason. He's inside the 40. Let's see how this ball bounces. It bounces favourably, but goes out about, well, a touch he rolls at 28 metres out from the Dragons' goal line. A good kick nonetheless. and the Dragons will get possession. Really the first long kick that we've seen. We've seen some broken play and some good forward running. On that occasion, a good kick by Connor Mason. The Panthers will be looking to force an error. And the Dragons looking to keep the ball and head downfield for an attacking raid. And Nassau to Hayburn off the scrum. Left-hand side they come, and got his short in stature, but a good defender, Braith Alexander. So it is Nassau at dummy half at this present time. For the Illawarra South Coast Dragons, Sims. Hit and spin. The changes coming on. Roberts. Patterson. Brought down by a couple of defenders. Last tackle, a kick, and well taken. A penalty blown. Well, we have a backup team sheet, but the worst thing imaginable has happened. The team sheet is gone. But thankfully, I wrote a team sheet before. All right, we're back on 40 metres out from their own line, and then error made by Isaac Tungall. And the Panthers they didn't want to lose the ball, just like I didn't want to lose the team sheet, but here we are. 17 minutes to go, so roughly halfway through the first half. Seeing glimpses from both sides and what they can do. But perhaps not the attacking nature that we thought we might see from the Dragons, who scored 50 points last week. Here comes Vetanabua Finerti, and now a penalty. And I don't know what's going through their mind, but I might have looked for the 2 points there, just get points on the board. Points are going to be all important. Nassau to Roberts. The right-hand side, good defence there. That's Fletcher Blackett who's on the field. Now for Sims, for Patterson. Brought down 5 short of the goal line. Nassau. Now for the halfback in Hayburn. Trying to dance around. Nassau left hand, short side. Can't get it down last tackle. They've got numbers everywhere. Oh, and can't pick up the ball. Unfortunately make an error. And all their hard work undone as the Panthers will work it away from their own end. I've seen the bench being used from the Dragons. So we've got Fletcher Blackett. And that's our Giovanni. I'm assuming starting for Jack Owens as Tuakana Kangihayata is off the bench. And we see Hoepa Peru, who started the game. So Borthwick to Alexander early, inside his own 30. And Jai Patterson has to get on his horse here. He'll take it quite comfortably, but a line of Penrith defence awaits. And the 7, 2 and 5 bring him down. Mason and the 2 wingers, Christian Lee Mai and Matthew Lewin. Asking for some line speed here from the Panthers. And a good run from Kane Ball down that right-hand side. Roberts. Now for Sharp, the skipper. Looking for a quick play the ball, but Mason funneling there. And Sims up over the halfway. Roberts goes for a crossfield kick. Looked to be taken, wasn't. Taken now by the Panthers. And now he runs away with it. Can he beat another defender brought down just over the 30, very close to that far touchline? It was Maxwell Pritchard up in the air, and now the Panthers look to turn and make an attacking raid out of this play. No one going into dummy half. Borthwick, now for Alexander. Comes away, here's Hansen. Inside the red zone of the Dragons. Borthwick, Mason, turns him on the inside, Lee Mai. Tungor, Mason. Fisher with the offload. Borthwick now to Alexander. A dummy and run. Oh, boy. Absolutely crunched. And players down all over the place, including one Jai Patterson. Slowly gets up to his feet. In fact, it's the halfback Hayburn. But the Panthers will look to capitalise here. No points as of yet. 12 minutes before the break. Hoping one try could possibly turn into two. Or do they look for the 2 points? And the referee having a bit of a word with Trent Borthwick. Summing up his options, but I'm assuming that he's going to go for the tap restart. Making sure the halfback is all okay. Great word by the trainers there from the Dragons. Resumption of play. There's the penalty. What can the Panthers do with the football here? Now to the front row. A good hit on Campbell Fisher. That's really shaking him up. Straight back to his haunches. Back to play. Mason. Looking to run right around. Beats his opposite. Tried to get a flick out the back. There, perhaps to Pritchard. And he'll play it. Here's Hackney. Oh, good driving tackle. And now they've called time off. Because the number 8, Campbell Fisher, is still down from that crunching hit. Couldn't pick who it was. But he wasn't well at all. So just a few stoppages in play over the last couple of minutes. I'm just giving the Dragons a bit of recovery time. And they can defend well on their goal line. Because the Panthers, they look to have an attacking raid through the middle, through broken play. Play resumes with Alexander and his Lipowicz. He's out to the left-hand side. They come short side. Borthwick, Mason inside. Alexander! Can he get it down or is it held up? Great defence. And I guarantee you that man underneath, it is in fact the number 1, Jai Patterson. Great defensive read. Held up the much smaller Braith Alexander. Great inside ball. But the Dragons, they hold on. Mason, crossfield, looking for Pritchard. Leaps through the air. Takes it. Oh, no. A penalty for inside the 10. Oh, all the hard work undone. Maxwell Pritchard, take a bow for that, but no points. 10 points in my books, but offside called, and the Dragons, they'll be breathing a sigh of relief after that one. Well, now we know the danger that Maxwell Pritchard possesses in the air. Perhaps we'll see that again today. Anyway, the Dragons with the ball. We know what Roberts can do. Nice inside ball there. And that's Vetabua Finerty. Now, going across field, looking for the offload, Burtis. And now a penalty. So back-to-back penalties for the Dragons. And now they're down in the Panthers' end of the field. Burtis off the tap and run. Come left side, Roberts. Now Finerty. And he will play it. Nassau. Roberts wrapping around. A good short ball there for Blackett. They got a short side here. About 5-on-3. They go back on the inside. Try to mark up on the smaller Alexander. And Sims will be asked to play it. Nassau. Awkward pass. Roberts tries to make the most of it. Crossfield kick. Taken well. It was almost unmarked, Alex Lobb. They turn a negative into a positive. And the Dragons, well, would you believe it, they get on the board first. A really awkward pass out of dummy half from Giovanni Nassau, but Tyrone Robertson was with the crossfield kick. And Alex Lobb marked up well against his opposite winger. And he took that and scores the opening points for the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. So after all that, after all the possession the Panthers had down the opposite side of the field, the Dragons opened the scoring. I spoke earlier in the broadcast about Tyrone Roberts scoring a hat-trick last week. Had his hands on everything. He was also 8 from 8 with the boot. A 28 points scored last week by Tyrone Roberts. Can he score his first two this afternoon? Trees blowing in the background. He tried to bend it back, but just off to the left-hand side. Unsuccessful from Tyrone Roberts, but we have our first points here at St. Mary's League Stadium in the Under-18s Laurie Daley Cup between the Penrith Panthers and the Illawarra South Coast Dragons is 4-0. Back underway through the boot of Isaac Tangor. No kick out on the full on this occasion. But there's an offload. And someone we don't have on our team sheet, the number 19 in the headgear, will try and get his information at half time. But here come the Dragons, working it away from their own line. Here's Burtis. A good tackle there. Tangor. Now Roberts goes short. Good defense in numbers there from the Panthers on Vetabua Finerty. Now with Sims. Panthers looking tight in defense, still making tackles. Hayburn. Down towards Taruva. And he's brought to ground. Yeah. Seeming very confident about himself and his abilities. Letting the players know. As the Panthers come to centre field. Borthwick now, Tungor. Still driving and pumping the legs. Now for Alexander. Last tackle here for the Panthers, Alexander. High kick, any high kick's going to be tough. Taken, oh, I thought it was taken by Connor Mason. Be taken as a lost ball. Yeah, anything high in this game is going to be an absolute nightmare. I'm sure Jai Patterson was up to the task, but Connor Mason trying to do his best leap. Nelson Sharp taking the pain off the forwards and a good run. He's been really good. Coming in the side for Jay Weaver, Kane Ball. He's going to be asked to play it back where he was tackled 35 metres out. But he's been really good on this left-hand edge for the Dragons. Hayburn. Good shot there. Winbergen. Be interesting to see the mindset of the Dragons heading into half-time, which is 4.5 minutes away. Last tackle, Roberts. Cut out ball, finds Alex Lobb. What's going to happen here? Grubber kick into the in goal and another forward pass. Well, that's the second time that that's happened. Called it early. Just marginally forward, just not getting it right. But showing how potent that right-hand edge is with Alex Lobb and Tyrone Roberts. As the other number 2. Gets it up to the 40 and well, obviously the Panthers would like to score some points before half-time, but how are they going to go about it? Slowish play the ball for Borthwick. Here's one of the interchange forwards. Looks like Winbergen. It is indeed. Now for Borthwick to Mason. Some nice light footwork. Steps around another. Beats the tackle of Jai Patterson. Is he going to go all the way? Sensational rugby league. Great try. Connor Mason danced around them and scores a fabulous 4-pointer.
The Panthers a try to the number 7, Connor Mason. Taking the Panthers onto 4. And there's a conversion attempt to come.
Well, really, with tries like that, you've just got to stand in awe and applaud. That was fantastic. Beat about 3 defenders, Jai Patterson at the end, and boy, in that 20-metre space, he has a lot of acceleration. Quick off the mark. And with the game tied up at the moment, 2.5 minutes remaining until the break, Connor Mason will look to take the lead here. For the Penrith Panthers, goes in between the uprights. The 2-point lead it is. Trying to goal from Connor Mason. 6 points to 4, Penrith lead. So we're seeing a bit of a show from both Tyrone Roberts and Connor Mason. But a good game, especially in the second half of this first half. It was a bit scratchy in the early stages. As Alexander goes across to Winbergen, who winds up and keeps those legs pumping. Good run off the back fence. Borthwick has been very good at dummy half. Good service. Always looking for that quick play the ball. Now they come up through the middle. Hackney will play it. Now the 17 who's on, Peter Hansen. His second carry. Borthwick to Alexander. A dummy tried to get through. But well tackled there by Hayburn. Last tackle. They come out the back here for Mason. Runs, holds the ball, kicks it. Ricochets off the 21, misses a tackle. Kane Ball cleans up the scraps there for the Dragons. Could have been anything that kick from Connor Mason. A big upending tackle. Now for Patterson. Because Robert's going to be looking for it. Here he is, he gives it to his back row partner, Charlie Parrish. Last play. And they're just going to hold it. Loses the football, but it doesn't matter. The first half has concluded. A low-scoring first half. You wouldn't think that it would have been after many points were scored. 70 in total last week by these two teams. Connor Mason, a try scorer, and also a try scored by Alex Lobb. The first of the afternoon for the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. It is the Penrith Panthers leading the Illawarra South Coast Dragons at halftime in the Under-18s Laurie Daley Cup. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Welcome back to the action here at St. Mary's League Stadium. 6 points to 4. The halftime score, the Panthers over the Dragons. Some other scores for you around the grounds. Northern Rivers Titans 30 for the Parramatta Eels 0 at Macready Park in Guildford. It's barely half time there, so the Titans looking to bring up the 50 points. At Bega, the Monaro Colts lead GSR Tigers 10 points to zip. At Ron Crow Oval in West Wyalong, the Western Rams lead the Riverina Bulls 34 to 0. So a lot of donuts on the boards here as the South Coast Dragons make their way out onto the field. And at Scone Park in Scone, the Newcastle Knights lead the Greater Northern Tigers 12 points to 8. And before the telecast is over, I'll try and get the score between the Roosters and the Bulldogs. Laurie Daley Cup. But a very even contest here between these two sides. 2 points in and low scoring. So a great try for half-time from Connor Mason, the halfback of the Penrith Panthers. As Roberts gets us back underway. And here comes Winbergen winding up. And what a good run there from the interchange prop forward. People left in his wake. As the Panthers try to start well early here. Jared Hackney. Well, it's hard to follow suit after a run like that. But they try and a good hit. Fletcher Blackett there on his opposite number, Peter Hansen. Now Borthwick out of dummy half. Playing with a good energy here, the Panthers. Now for Alexander. Little chip over the top. Somehow regathers it. And it wasn't the last, so they're not going to have to hand the ball over. Borthwick out to the right-hand side. Kicks it. Some work to do here for Patterson. And he's brought down there by two defenders. But a really good opening set here for the Panthers. They come the left-hand side with the skipper, Nelson Sharp. That's Cooper Tunbridge in 22. And came in for Tamari, who was shuffled out of the side. They come with a long ball there to the 21 in Kane Ball, who was really good in the first half. The right centre. Now for Grob. So, error-free opening sets for both sides as Roberts looks for the touchline. Debating whether to touch that or not. Taruva. Brought down inside his own 20. Looks like it's going to be more of the same as Mitchell Owen takes the tackle. Much more of an arm wrestle. Here's Pritchard. And 3 to bring him down, including Tunbridge. Again, good physicality, Hackney. Alexander from inside his own 30. That wind should help him. Bounces up nicely there for Jai Patterson. And taken well there. Braith. No. That's a knock on from the fullback. And the Panthers will get the first really good opportunity inside 3 minutes of the second half. Earlier today, in the Andrew Johns Cup, we had a 40 points to 4 scoreline. The Panthers over the Dragons. The Dragons 4 points here in the Laurie Daley Cup, but much tighter the scoreline. And here goes Pritchard once again. A lot of carries. They come with Mason. And now for Mai. Some good footwork there. Bounces out of another tackle. Not about how hard you get hit. It's about bouncing out of the tackle and looking for more yardage. An offload there. Now for Borthwick. The space opening up. Mason trying to get a double. Wouldn't he love that? But a good offload there from Hackney nonetheless. Borthwick. Awkward pass. Tungor. Dummies. Runs. Gets to the line. Isaac Tungor. A good individual effort. The try yet to be awarded. And now points to the spot, but the back row on the left-hand side, Isaac Tungor getting over the line for the Penrith Panthers. Great pass out of dummy half. Actually, no. The complete opposite. It was, what a day. What a day for rugby league. Great effort, though, from Isaac Tungor. He's been really good all day, Trent Borthwick, though. You have to give credit to him throughout the day. But Isaac Tungor did well. As we see Connor Mason lining up for his second attempt. And the flags are waved away. Kick going out to the right, so unsuccessful. Unfortunately there from Connor Mason. But a try scored from Isaac Tungor. Of course, coverage of all these Andrew Johns Cup and Laurie Daley Cup matches streamed through Bar TV Sports. Streamed through Facebook for you to watch wherever we are. For instance, next week I'll be in West Belconnen covering the Monaro Colts. Love seeing the under-23s last season. It'll be all about the under-16s and 18s next week from West Belconnen as we see Peter Hansen with a hit up there. And just quickly a shout out to some of our sponsors, SLE Worldwide Australia, Anytime Fitness, and of course our streaming provider Bar TV Sports, allowing you to watch these games streamed through to Facebook, live and free. So good set after points here for the Panthers is the try scorer Tungor, the two try scorers combined in Mason and Tungor, trying to fight for every inch, looking for a penalty, didn't get one. Mason juggles it. Some more of that footwork that we saw earlier, which led to his first try. Good defence there from Venetabua Fenerti. Probably butchered that name out a couple of times today, but nonetheless, a good tackle brings him to ground. And no, they're saying it's a Dragons knock-on. So a hand in the tackle. He's lost possession, but they're saying that Phoenix has got a hand to it, and the Panthers will get a fresh set of 6. Here's the 5 Lewin. I know he's still got 27 minutes here, but thank God that rain has held off. We've seen some attacking football from all 4 sides that we've seen here today. Sometimes it's come off, other times it hasn't. But it's been entertaining nonetheless. As Winbergen's still driven back. They want to drive him back to his own goal line if they could. Alexander now for Mason. Comes back towards the middle. Like a heat-seeking missile. Braith Lawrence Foy, he was looking for the little halfback. Now Borthwick jumps out. Tungor. Look for that long pass and it's going to go into touch. Unfortunately, was looking for Lewin out on that left-hand edge. Seems like him and Christian Lee Mai have swapped. Lee Mai going into the centres. The Dragons to get the ball 20 metres out from their own line. The deficit now 6 points. good set start is what they need, and maybe they'll get it here. Good run there from Kane Ball. Dangerous out on that right-hand edge. Roberts. Now for Grob. Slow to play the ball, thought he lost it, but maintained possession of the ball. Burtis. They're offside here, Penrith. So the Dragons inside the Penrith half, looking to go deeper with a kick for touch. And Roberts with the touch finder. A ball to tap it, but there's... What's going on? Is there two balls on the field? Just asked to tap it back on the mark. So Roberts through the hands now. Patterson. And there's Burtis. Brought down. Good one-on-one tackle from El Bayi, who's on the field. Nice offload there. The man in the double two. That's Tunbridge. Looking for a penalty, the faithful here for the Dragons. Finnerty. They're going to go back to the original play of the ball. Mark is not square. So another penalty here for the Dragons. Pressure building. Actually, no, we're going to see the 14 El Bayi come on right now. He's got the interchange card in hand, so perhaps we'll see Trent Borthwick come from the field. Vatanabua Finnerty with the tap restart. Bit of a juggle there from Kai Sims, but holds on to possession as the sun breaks out properly for the first time. And, well, for not the first time today, we see a player not playing the ball correctly and Kai Sims penalised. And perhaps might be the fullback coming off. See when he comes around, but the 14, Hayden El Bayi, is on. And here's Alexander going to the 13 in Hackney. No, the fullback's still out there. See who has come off for El Bayi. It's the number 17, Peter Hanson, so perhaps he'll go into a lock-forward role. Here he is, Hayden El Bayi, good tackle. Now Borthwick out of dummy half. We saw this a lot last year in the 16s from the Western Rams. We had Dominello and Elijah Collis creating havoc. The Panthers looking to do the same, and Jai Patterson just takes the tackle there. The Dragons looking for a penalty. Giovanni looking to come back into the contest for the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. And offside there. The fresh man who's just come onto the field. Wind hasn't been that bad in the last 5 to 10 minutes. So a successful kick for touch for the Dragons, and they only find themselves 40 metres out. Here's Grob. We've seen some really good defensive football here in this game, especially as Nassau looks to be playing that lock forward role. Tuakana Kangi Haita is on in jersey 19 with the Kalen Ponga-like headgear. The pass out, here's Patterson looking for a gap, looking to drive his way to the line, can't do so. Good tackle by Tungor. Now for Roberts, goes with the short ball, look for an offload, couldn't get there. And he's a blade of grass from the line. Did he play the ball correctly? He did not. It's a knock on, and the Panthers, they survive. The Dragons, they had an opportunity, but they let it slip through their fingers. One of these teams, they need to capitalise on their possession in the opponent's half. The Dragons have really struggled today, and I think in this second half we haven't seen enough of Tyrone Roberts with the ball in his hand. And Bailey Hipburn. They just need to combine for a set of passes, and maybe we'll see something. Maybe an inside-out ball to Jai Patterson looming around the back. But the Panthers have been very good defensively here today. Only the 4 points conceded. Borthwick, Alexander, dummies. He did look for the lock forward. He found him. He's beaten Patterson. He tried to get the ball away to Pritchard, but there was hands all over the football and he didn't want to lose it. But a very nice play there. Here's Alexander again, looking short. He finds Maxwell Pritchard. Is he going to back himself? He will. He's got Alexander back inside. He goes to the fullback instead. Still looking for an offload. Play on, and there's an error. Well, very exciting for the Penrith Panthers. Unfortunately, it ends in an error. But exhilarating nonetheless. Great play there from Braith Alexander. His combination with a number of players. Maxwell Pritchard on that occasion. And showing like Rob Burrow did for a number of years at the Leeds Rhinos at size that, you know, if you've got the speed, you've got the skill, size comes secondary. He's played and toyed with the defence of the Dragons here on a number of occasions. They come down the side, the left-hand side with Tunbridge, who gets a flick out the back, inside your own half, and with a flick pass out the back, don't you mind. And now the Dragons looking to turn possession deep in their own half to an attacking raid, where they can try and score their second try of the match. The sun disappears again. And a good run there. Fletcher Blackett, been solid since coming on. Patterson, Roberts, there's that combination I spoke about. Now for ball. Another run from Trent Griffiths back onto the field. The rotation's happening. Now for Nassau. With Patterson, he was flying through. Perhaps look for an offload. He looms up and around the ruck area. And a high tackle there. Well, that's as high as they come. And he's left sick and sorry. I believe it is the 14L buyer who might be on the deck. And time off. Someone's going to be spoken to. I've asked the number 12 Charlie Parrish to come. And perhaps we see another sin bin. We already had 2 in the match previous. There's the on report, so both Tyrone Roberts and Charlie Parrish on report. And hopefully for the Dragons' sake they're able to play next week and further into this competition. But if you didn't see it earlier today, something I don't think I've ever seen in my 15 years of watching rugby league, someone scoring a try. That's Alini, the prop forward from the Penrith Panthers, scoring a try, and then him and his centre compadre getting sent to the bin right at the end of the match. Something I can't say I've seen before. But the 14L bye is still being tended to by the trainer. Perhaps a bloody nose. He's been sent out the back, a bit of a blood bin. He looks to be moving around all okay. And interestingly enough, the Panthers are just going to go tap and run, not trusting that wind that could come back at any time. And, well, that's come to haunt them. And he's not happy at all. Zach Lipowicz knows that an error first and foremost is not needed, but especially down this end of the park. And the Dragons very excited at what this possession entails. Can they score points off this? Nelson Sharp, he's gone in to feed the scrum. What sort of trick play have they got up their sleeve here, the Dragons? maybe the refs caught wind of what they're trying to do. So Sharp to feed the scrum. The centre and captain. The ball finally comes out. Now here for Roberts. Here they go, his ball. Dangerous runner, has been all day. But on that occasion, the Panthers bring him down. Now for Griffiths. They have a stacked left-hand side. And it comes to the back rower. Marching, crawling is Charlie Parrish. Did he get it down? No, he's been held up. Veteran Abulwa Finerdi asking for the video ref. I don't believe we have this video ref in the under-18s. And play resumes. Griffiths again. We got changes all over the place here for the Dragons. But here we go, the skipper. And oh! I thought that might have sparked something, but Maxwell Pritchard, a up and over tackle. Just a bit too much intensity, I believe, and time off again. I suggest we might see another report here. There'll be 3 in this game. Like the 16s, a lot of intensity, a lot of physicality. Sometimes the players just getting a bit too excited. No one going on report as well. So we've seen Tyrone Roberts, Charlie Parrish, now Maxwell Pritchard, all been put on report. And boy, I think he was fearing for his life there. Time blown back on and back underway with Parrish. So it looks like the skipper Nelson Sharp has gone into a half roll. Here we go. Roberts now for ball, steps around one. Can he get it down? Great goal line defence, Penrith. They went to the danger man ball again and, well, they wrap him up. He couldn't get over the line. I think we've seen, no, Tunbridge has gone to the right side. Perhaps to the right wing. We've seen Jai Patterson to the left wing. And Nelson Sharp into the halves. And Billy Haben, I believe, is off the field. Not too sure who's in the fullback role. And time off again. The referee not in position. What are we going to see here? Sharp, Nassau. Dummies and goes himself. Through the short side here with ball to the left-hand side on this occasion. Can't get over the line. Sharp, Nassau, offload. And a one-on-one strip. No, they're going to call 2 in the tackle. I thought for certain it was 1. But this will give the Dragons another opportunity. I tell you what, they're going to be really disappointed, these Dragons fans, if they can't get over the line. The Panthers' goal line defence has been amazing, but here we go, Charlie Parrish. Quick play the ball. To the right-hand side they come with Griffiths. Tries to centre things. They've got numbers here on the right-hand side. Do they know it? They come to the right. Roberts! And Roberts makes the error. There's so much pressure on them. And the Panthers, they survive back-to-back-to-back sets. Great goal line defence from Penrith. And you've got to think, with all the opportunities the Dragons have had, especially in this second half, how many more are they going to get with 15 minutes to go? Are the Panthers, are they going to give them any more opportunities? Their discipline hasn't been all that good, Penrith, but it's their defence is really backed up and might get them home at the end of the day here. 14 and a half to go. It's Matt Lewin. They won't want to give away possession again. The Dragons' defence, what are we going to see from them? Here's Mitchell Owen. Pushed back. And you can see the line speed from the Dragons as they get up heavily on the number 8, Campbell Fisher. And again, they drive him back. Offload here. Borthwick. You can see the intensity for the Dragons. Although they've lost the ball, it's picked up. Here's Momo. And Trent Borthwick, he's still on the deck after that tackle. Play resumes. Mason. Kick it was very shallow. Here's Patterson up over his own 40. Borthwick still down in back play, so they're defending with 12. Here's Ball. Trying to get the offload away. He's really struggling. No. Back to his feet. He's Borthwick trying to get into the line and help out his teammates. Alexander with the tackle. Now out of dummy half. Here goes Talcana. Nassau. Griffiths. Last tackle. Points are a premium. They have to take them now. Roberts. Grubber kick. Great take, Tungor. And his toes almost, and he's still going. Isaac Tungor, look at him go. He's like a truck carrying cement. Tyrone Roberts, a grubber kick, and a great take from Isaac Tungor. And now the fullback, Taruva. And we're going to see a penalty offside, and the Panthers, how on earth do they keep surviving and then just go straight back on the attack? 10 points to 4, 12 to go. You can just tell the intensity's picked up. Things are tense in the crowd, they're tense on the field. Borthwick, Alexander, Momoa. After all that defense, surely the Panthers can't score here. Alexander, and a good one-on-one tackle. Vatenibua Fenerdi. Here's Momoa. Gets the ball free. Now for Mason. Breaks through a tackle. Breaks through another. Tries to fend off a third. Can't do so. 10 metres out. Alexander inside Momoa. Brought down last tackle. I'm seeing the 18 Mitch Owen out here. Alexander, grubber kick, goes in short. Brought in brilliantly from Charlie Parrish. And this time the Dragons survive. Now they've got to work it out from their own end with Grob. And this is deep into the second half as he dropped it, Tunbridge. He has Cooper Tunbridge. And that's what Penrith didn't do. They defended well and then got out of their own end when they could, when they weren't giving away penalties. But now the Dragons, well, the first time the Panthers have been down here in quite some time, and they're going to get yet another opportunity. The Dragons player's gone behind the goal line, holding ribs. We'll try and see who it is. But the Panthers with an opportunity to go further in front. Here's Mai. God, these kids are physical. Phoenix again. Borthwick, Alexander, dummies. There's not fully anyone on that occasion. He'll play it. Does Alexander? Here's Momoa. And Borthwick. And Mason. Could that be a penalty for accidental offside? Well, actually, no. It has to be deliberate offside, so Nassau in an unfortunate position. But nevertheless, it is a tap restart off a penalty. Oh, Nassau, he was He was going to launch at whoever got that ball. A tap restart from Roberts. It looks like the 17, Fletcher Blackett, who played really well coming off the bench. He's the one off. Having some back troubles. Can they do without him for the final 9 minutes? He's Grob. Something tells me we're going to need something from Tyrone Roberts. Here's Tuakana Kangiata. Left-hand side, Roberts. Chip kick over the top and well taken there from Tungor. And God, hasn't he been sublime, Isaac Tungor. Has a try next to his name. But I think everything he's done the other side of the 50 in his defensive work has probably been what's best for business for the Panthers as Campbell Fisher gets up over halfway. I can sniff another try in this game. Surely there's not going to be 8 more minutes of no score. Both teams trying everything. Alexander, kick. Patterson does well. Taken by, was it Lewin? That was the 18, Mitchell Owen, shrugging off Alexander. But the Dragons, they know the importance. They won last week, but they know that they need to keep winning. As for the Panthers, they know the same. Wins are so essential in such a short competition. Ball. Now for Tunbridge. Last tackle called by the referee. And he was looking for the penalty. But he's lost the ball. He's coughed it up. And we head into the final 7, which a lot of teams in the NRL deem to be the most important. The first and final 7 of both halves. This can make it or break it for both sides. Who's going to win the arm wrestle? And it has indeed been that, an arm wrestle. Low scoring, yet entertaining. The fans have been into it from the first run. The time call off again, 6:20 remaining. But what a great day of rugby league it has been at St Mary's League Stadium. Enjoyed calling every second of it. As I'm sure that you have enjoyed every second watching live from wherever you may be. Streamed through Bar TV Sports and Facebook. We see some good defensive work here from the Dragons. Pritchard earns them back. As we see a very good spell there from Jared Hickney. The lock forward is Momo. Mason. Saw the intercept attempt there from Tyrone Roberts. He might regret it if the Panthers can score here. Did the ball go backwards? Called so, last tackle. They've given up a lot of metres. Roberts regretted that intercept attempt. Here's Mason with a grubber in to the in goal. Will it sit up? No, just over the dead ball line. Well watched by the skipper and Sharp. Only 5 minutes to go. And not on the mark. Great officiating by the referee. Not giving the players any inch. They have to do it the right way. We've seen it in the ruck. Did it halt the Dragons' momentum? His ball. In fact, no, his ball. And now we're out for the 16 in Burtis. What do the Dragons have to do? Roberts. Solid contact there. And it was Tungor's back row partner in Zach Lipowicz trying to make up for that error earlier. Grob. Second to last. Now from dummy half, trying to make something of it. Now for Roberts. And it's been touched by the Panthers, so it will be a scrum feed to the Dragons. And players laying on the deck just so fatigued. Such a physical contest. There's still 4 minutes to go. You can't afford to be giving up now. Need focus for every single moment. One tackle could make or break this game. The Dragons win the scrum feed. Sharp shows once, beats one tackle. Can he get to the line? No, good defence there, Taruva. Roberts. They get up and tackle him. They stop the danger man. Surely not. It's still the Dragons' ball. They just need to calm their heads. Roberts. Oh. And our ball drops the ball. The Panthers are celebrating. There's still 3 minutes left on the clock. But that error, that'll hurt the Dragons. And the Panthers need to play it safe and sound, you'd think, for this set. Oh, good tackle. Kane Ball trying to make up for the error. Alexander, now for Owen. Probably get one, maybe two possessions, depending on what happens over the next 2.5 minutes, the Dragons. And I do believe if time expires and we have a 10-all scoreline, that'll be that. It'll be counted as a draw. Both teams will get a point. And at this point, maybe the Dragons will take the point, having won last week. Last tackle. Tungor plays it. Now for Alexander, pressure on the kicker. It's a short kick, and they'll have 60 metres to run. Up over the 50, so less than 50 in about 90 seconds. His ball inside the Tunbridge. Exciting finish coming up here. Here's Nassau. He needs some second phase play. Where's Roberts? Where's Hayburn? Looking for a short ball, no. Sims. A fourth tackle, they need something here. Or are they just going to work it on the last? Clyde Brett to play the ball. This is the last. Last roll of the dice for the Dragons. Roberts, grubber kick. Tungor loses it. Sharp out to the winger at 6 to go. Back on the inside, and it's Kane Ball. Is it? It's touched at 0. It's a try for the Dragons with less than a minute to go.
Their score now to 8. And we've got a very interesting third attempt to come.
I don't believe it was Kane Ball. But a try that puts them 2 points from tying this game and earning a point in the Laurie Daley Cup. They kept it alive. And there's the siren, and Tyrone Roberts has a chance to level it. Both teams have done all they can. They're exhausted. And now it rides on the shoulders of Tyrone Roberts. Wasn't at his magical best today, but with this, he'll salvage something for the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. The crowd has come to a light simmer here. Time has expired. Roberts on the touchline, about 23 out. Taking his time. He strikes it. And it's through the uprights. A roar of the crowd. And the Panthers and the Dragons play out a 10-all draw. Well, I said early in the broadcast I thought it might have been a high-scoring game. The Dragons scoring 52 points last week, but 10 points all. Great defence on display. We saw some exciting attack from the likes of Braith Alexander and Tyrone Roberts. And although it was a tight scoreline, if I had to give a man of the match, it'd go to Isaac Tungor. Played brilliantly in both defence and attack. The players shaking hands. What a fantastic game. What a great day here at St Mary's League Stadium. We had the Panthers go over in the under-16s, 40 points to 4.
On behalf of St Mary's Leagues,
and in the Laurie Daley Cup, the under-18s, a 10-all draw you've seen here. Fantastic stuff. I'll continue my coverage from West Belconnen next week with Country Rugby League as we bring you action for the Monaro Colts. From James Robertson, from Bar TV Sports, farewell, and we'll see you next week for more Rugby League.